Okay, so in this lesson, which is actually the last lesson for Chapter 1 involving definitions, we're going to be looking at what it is versus what it's not. So it provides you examples of what it is, and you got to try to look at those pictures and decide, based on those pictures and the ones to the right of it, what would be a good definition. So for a trapezoid, they're all four-sided shapes. So that means they fall into the quadrilateral family. That's its classification. That's the group it belongs to. And then what differentiates it from other quadrilaterals? That has only one set of parallel sides. So just kind of a reminder, again, we've not been together. Reminder that anytime we see arrowheads do not mean that the lengths are congruent. Arrowhead simply means that the segments are parallel. Again, parallel are two lines or line segments that never intersect. So it's lines that never intersect. So this one here fails because it has two sets of parallel sides. And this one here fails because it's five sides. And quadrilaterals have four. So for a kite, again, it's another quadrilateral. And it has tick marks where there are actually two sides, or sets of sides, that are equal to each other. And that's true for all three shapes. Now, this one here does have two sets, but it also has a fifth side. So kites are four-sided shapes, not five-sided shapes. This one here, all the sides are marked the same. And with kites, the two sets are different. Here we have three sides that are equal. And again, we have to have two sets instead of one set of three. And then this one here fails because the sides are equal, are actually opposite each other instead of next to each other. So a kite is one of the more challenging, in my opinion, definitions to write. So a kite is a quadrilateral that has two sets of distinct So distinct it means that they're going to be different. So two sets of distinct, equal, adjacent sides. So it's two sets, distinct meaning different, sets of equal sides. Adjacent means next to each other. So distinct, different, and equal adjacent sides. So again, we have two sets here. This set here is a set of adjacent sides that are equal. And this side here and this side here, those are adjacent sides that are equal. And the distinct means the two sets are different from each other. So the four sides cannot be equal to each other. Kind of like the example here. We have four sides that are the same length. And that cannot happen in the definition of kite for your book. For parallelograms, again, it's another quadrilateral. And it has, like a trapezoid, it has those arrowheads. But unlike a trapezoid, it actually has two sets of parallel sides. So that's why the trapezoid is on the side over here that's not a parallelogram. So it has two sets of parallel sides. For a rhombus, you'll notice that they've added a lot of additional markings because they want you to actually change the classification. So they are quadrilaterals. But not only are they quadrilaterals, but they also are marked with two sets of arrowheads. So this quadrilateral, this rhombus, is a special parallelogram. And that's also true for the rectangle. The rectangle also has two sets of parallel sides. So even though these are both in the quadrilateral family, they're a special quadrilateral. So they want you to use the word parallelogram here. So a rectangle and a rhombus are both parallelograms, and they're both different types of parallelograms. That's the distinction we're making here. So for a rhombus, we have all four sides are marked the same in each rhombus. Well, over here, on this one here, we have two sets of parallel sides, which fits the definition of a parallelogram, but all four of the sides are marked the same, and that's why it's not a it's not a parallelogram, because this side here is marked with a single tick mark, and this one here is marked with a double. So we don't have four equal sides, we have two sets of equal sides. So a parallelogram is rhombus is a parallelogram that has four equal sides. For a rectangle, again, parallelogram, but what's different about the parallelogram versus the rhombus is that it's not about the sides, it's about the angles. And all four angles are marked the same for both shapes. And they went one step further for the second one, actually called them by their actual measurement, which is 90 degrees. So a rectangle is a parallelogram that has four equal angles, or 90-degree angles. And then our last shape, which has the most in terms of markings. So the squares, again, have the two sets of parallel sides. So a square is a special parallelogram. It also, unlike the ones that are not squares, the sides are all marked the same, which makes it a rhombus. So it has four equal sides. And the angles are also marked the same. That's four equal angles. So we start off with quadrilaterals, and we basically had one set of parallels, two sets of parallels. That was the trapezoid and the parallelogram. We have no sets of parallels. That actually ended up being the kite. And then we have three shapes that have the two sets of parallels, which are special parallelograms. That would be rectangle, rhombus, and square. So here you're going to be finishing off the shapes to show that you quickly do this. I would suggest trying to make sure the angles are right angles, especially in the rectangles and squares. You may want to use a corner of a sheet of paper to kind of place it in where the angle is at. Make sure it really is a 90-degree angle. You're going to get what's called an arrowhead, and a kite. For a kite, all of the angles in a kite are either acute, right, or obtuse. So make sure when you're doing the kite, which has two sets of distinct, equal, adjacent sides. But with a arrowhead kite, what makes it different is that there is always one reflex angle. So we still have two sets of distinct, equal, adjacent sides, but one of the angles is going to be reflex. So that's going to be the difference between an arrowhead kite and a kite. Hopefully you were very successful on your definitions and the conversations you had with your classmate, and good luck on these shapes.